There's really only one reason why the Oilers lost game one.
Yeah, just penalties.
Bingo! Dumb penalties by veteran players cost them the game. Kulak, Perry, Evander Kane. You can't be doing that.
You just can't be doing that, especially playoff time, especially against a team like this. They know how to score goals, obviously.
3 power play goals in 48 seconds of offensive zone time for the Dallas Stars, who now have 4 third-period comebacks in these Stanley Cup playoffs. Quick break here, and reminder, subscribing is free, unlike playoff tickets. So do the right thing, please. Hit that subscribe button. The Stars are a hell of a team. They have depth, they have goaltending, they have defense, they have everything. But it really feels like the Oilers threw away a really good Draisaitl and McDavid game, who were spectacular, I thought, most of the night. I mean, they drove offense on 5-on-5. Draisaitl had a goal and 2 assists. McDavid had 2 assists. But the PK, it needs to be better. And I'm not quite sure how it improves without Mattias Ekholm, and we'll get to that. But Stuart Skinner, not all to blame, but probably should shoulder some of it.
You know, goals have been going in a little bit differently, in different ways. The goal from the point, I should have looked on the right side a little bit quicker. So obviously I didn't, and then that's, you know, it's a goal, and then it's, you know, momentum's on their side. So
one thing I take away from that clip I just played was the fact that Skinner took some of the blame for that loss, and I understand why. And in years past, I probably wouldn't have thought twice about what he said there. But after hearing Curtis Joseph on Spit and Chicklets talk about how he never took a blame for a loss in the playoffs, it's kind of changed my way of thinking about the way goalies go about themselves in post games.
And never take blame. Never take blame for a loss. Literally, because it'll be forgotten. If you keep bringing attention to how you played in a game, they'll keep bringing it up. So you never do that. So there's a few things that you need to know with the media and how to handle yourself and to stay positive and in the moment.
Can't argue with Cujo. One of the best to ever do it. He knows what he's talking about, has had a lot of playoff success. For Skinner, the thing about him in these playoffs, it's a tale of 2 different goaltenders, right? You either get a shutout or back-to-back shutouts, or he lets in 4, 5, or 6 goals. There's really no middle ground here with Stuart Skinner, and that's scary for the Edmonton Oilers. And this is not, I'm not throwing all the blame on Stuart Skinner because he doesn't deserve all the blame. He probably wants a Stam Steele goal back. He probably should do a lot better on the Duchesne third power play goal. Instead of looking at the ref asking for goaltender interference, maybe slide over to the other side and try and make a save. And I think he probably understands that as well. But if he goes down, or if he lets in a bunch of goals in the opening 2 periods of the next game, Calvin Pickard isn't there. He's still out. The backup is a guy who's only started 1 game in his NHL career, and Olivier Rodrigue. So Skinner has to be at his best, and he has his bounce back ability where he might lose a game or 2 and then bounce back and have a really good game. I think back to game 4 in the Stanley Cup Finals. You know, Edmonton goes into that game down 0-3, and he was spectacular. I think he had a .950 save in that game, 30-plus saves, and then went on to win the next 3 games. Yeah, went on to win the next 3 games and couldn't finish it out in the 7th game. So Skinner has that ability. The Oilers have no one else to rely on except a rookie goaltender, and I don't think they want to go there. And who knows, maybe he can ask John Klingberg, former Dallas Stars defenseman, for some advice on how to stop some of these Dallas Stars players. Sam Nessler is a beat reporter for the Stars, and he asked Stuart Skinner after game 1 about maybe getting some tips from Klingberg. And this is what Stuart said. He goes, "I'm really glad you asked that question because now that's exactly what I'll do. I'm going to have a convo with Klinger after this, so thank you." I'm not sure what Klingberg's going to say. Like, how do you stop a shot, that first power play goal from Mio Heiskanen? There's 19 guys in front of you. There's not much you can do there. Dallas is getting a bunch of traffic to the net and making Stuart Skinner uncomfortable, and that's how they're getting their goals. Obviously, there's some beauty ones, like the second breakaway goal, the Granlund shot. I guess Stewart probably could have done better, but it was a great shot. Stars are really good. They're going to get bodies in front of the net. So I don't know if shot tendencies from the Dallas Stars players and knowing what they'll do is really going to help you. But what do I know? I'm not a professional goaltender. But if I'm Stuart Skinner and I'm the Oilers, anything can help. Now, it might sound like everything was all bad for the Oilers, but there was some good. Like I said, 97-29. They were great, like I mentioned, rolling on separate lines. That gives the Oilers great depth when you got 2 of the best players in the world going 1 and 2. 5-on-5, like I mentioned, they dominated. Don't take stupid penalties. Stick to 5-on-5 and you have a good chance of winning the next game. They need to improve their penalty kill, obviously. And they need Ekholm, I think, to do that. Let's not forget, last season in the playoffs, Their penalty kill was historic, statistically. 93+%. That's one of the best PKs of all time in the playoffs. But Ekholm was on there. If he can miraculously come back for game 2 and for the rest of the series, that's going to do them a ton of good because their PK right now is one of the worst in the playoffs. I think it's second last. Their power play, 1 for 3, needs to be better, obviously. But they had a really big power play opportunity when they were down 4-3. Bichelle went to the box, but they couldn't capitalize. They score there. It's a tie game. Who knows what happens, right? It doesn't end 6-3, I don't think. I think it's a lot closer, and they probably win that game because for large parts of it, 40 minutes, the better team, I would say, the Edmonton Oilers. And you can never count out the Oilers. That's a big one, right? They have this comeback ability, whatever that means. Go back to the first round. Down 0-2 against the Kings. They come back and win it. Last year's Stanley Cup Finals. Down 0-3 to the Panthers. They come back and win 3 games. Yes, they couldn't get over the top, but they bounced back. And a large part of that was because of Stuart Skinner. So he needs to improve. And how about this for a stat? I'll end it on this one. And shout out to Bob Stauffer for this one. Under Chris Knobloch, the coach for the Edmonton Oilers, they're 7-12 in the opening 3 games of a series compared to 16-2 through games 4 to 7. They get better as the series progresses. Trust the process, Oilers. And don't forget, this is for Oilers fans, they were down 2-1 in the Western Conference Finals last year to the Dallas Stars. They rattle off 3 more, and they won that series. They're not out of it. They're down a game. If you're going to win in 5, you got to lose a game, so here they are. Trust the process. Stay out of the box, and hopefully you get some big saves from Stuart Skinner, and 97 and 29 can have another really good game, and all of a sudden it's 2-2 heading into game 3.